welcome to beautiful Madison, Illinois for some short track racing on this 1.25-mile track. I'm Alex Hayden at Worldwide Technology Raceway. This track features two differently shaped and banked turns, making it a unique challenge. With 2022 being the inaugural event for the Cup Series, it looks like these drivers and teams are ready to fire them up. Let's go racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to another edition of NASCAR 22 on the channel. It is the first trip to Gateway on this game for myself. Have not tried it, and I didn't even practice really. I just went into qualifying with what I had and ended up qualifying pretty well. Third place is where our driver Kevin Harvick will start for today's race. Now, we are leading the regular season point standings with 12 races to go in the regular season coming into today's race at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. But it is by a very, very slim margin. Gonna look at it just to make sure I have the points right. 512 points on the year so far for Kevin Harvick to William Byron, who is second in points, 507. So just a 5-point lead coming into today's race. Coming off a 13th place finish in the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte yesterday. Looked like we were going to go on to potentially win the race if we just cycled through green flag pit stops, but a caution ended up coming out in our final cycling of green flag stops with literally 5 laps to go. Forced an overtime finish, which actually trapped us a lap down, and we ended up finishing 13th as a result, but we were leading. We led a lot of laps in the final stage of that race. Didn't even get to the lead until the final lap of stage 3. Last lap pass to win that stage, so we did get a playoff point, and we did score 12 stage points overall in yesterday's race, so it's a good thing we scored those stage points because we didn't end up actually getting the finish that I probably deserved in the race. But we have a chance to redeem ourselves once again here today, and I think the car is going to be really, really quick, and we'll see how this is going to go. Front row starting lineup. We'll go through the top 10 as usual here, but Tyler Reddick will be on the pole for today's race. Ryan Blaney will start outside of the front row. Both of those two winless on the season. Reddick still looking for his first career win. Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola for SHR will start in row number 2. Almirola coming off a stage win a couple races ago and back-to-back top 5 finishes. Harvick trying to go to victory lane for the first time and what feels like a long time considering we haven't played NASCAR 22 a whole lot. He has not won since Dirt Bristol, so he is currently not won in the last 6 races. Trying to get that 6th win of the season, though, today at Gateway. Pretty good on the flat tracks are the Fords, and you see a lot of them starting at the front of the field. 2 more Fords that start in row 3 would be Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric. Both looking for their first career wins as well to get into the playoffs. Cindric inside the top 16 in points as of right now. Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell will be in row number 4. Bell coming off a win in that Coke 600. It was his 2nd win of the season. And Ross Chastain also has 2 wins on the year. He won the race prior to that at Kansas, as well as a win earlier this year at Talladega. And then also in row 5 to round out the top 10 would be Kyle Busch and Cole Custer. Kyle Busch outside the cutoff line coming into today's race. As well as Custer, so they're a good starting spot. We'll see if they can capitalize, get some stage points to start this race off. Into the race we go. We do have stability held on from the get-go. Yoshi Gaming, Santiago Kid, and others, welcome into the stream, and let's get today's race underway. So this could wrap up so I can watch the Packers play some football tonight. 45 laps in stage 1 is going to be a quick first stage. Green flag is in the air. Reddick on the outside lane for whatever reason, as well as Harvick. Why is he inside on the outside? Regardless of the fact we are underway, this is not good for Harvick being on the outside lane. Bell slides off the exit of turn 2. Harvick just gets to the bottom underneath him and clears him on the back straightaway. Barely cleared the 41 of Cole Custer. Eric Almirola driving it in deep down on the bottom lane of the racetrack. Harvick trying to hold the bottom himself, side by side for the lead off of turn 4. It looks like Ryan Blaney was about to lead lap 1, but the caution will come out on the opening lap of the race off the exit of turn 4. So caution is out. The leaders did not get to the start-finish line but they were very close to getting to the start-finish line. So Ryan Blaney will be the leader and lead the opening lap. Green flag back in the air. Yeah, for whatever reason, the inside row is on the outside and the outside row is on the inside. I've never seen that before in a NASCAR game. Harvick not taking off well on the starts as he lost another 2 spots to Briscoe and Logano. Wasn't as bad as the original start of the race. We might be seeing some yellows pretty frequently. That has been the case on most of the shorter tracks this season. Gotta hope that the leaders don't get to the start-finish line first before potential caution comes out. Harvick gonna get to the inside of Joey Logano. Ryan Blaney to the race lead. Almirola trying to get around Reddick for second. Harvick on the inside of Joey Logano, the actual winner of this race in real life. Luckily, we didn't go a lap down. Really hoping we don't get any more cautions for stage 1 because we're already knowing it was going to be a short stage regardless. Not going to have to worry about any pit stops. And cautions out again off the exit of turn 4. But again, the leaders aren't getting to the start-finish line, so it must be happening in the middle of turns 3 and 4 further back. So we'll have yet another restart. Harvick, unfortunately, going to be on the outside lane, even though he should be on the inside. Green flag again back in the air. And quickly going to just hop to the bottom and not lose any spots into the first turn. Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain driving it in deep on that outside lane. Harvick gets passed by Bell, and already Harvick in the back half of the top 10. 2 early cautions in today's race. Harvick underneath of Ross Chastain, trying to keep his car as low as he can off the exit of the corner. Truex and Briscoe nearly making contact. Harvick going 3 wide to the inside underneath Briscoe and Truex. Trying to get as many spots back as he can. What a pass by Kevin Harvick as he downshifts perfectly into turn 1. Downshifting to 3rd gear quite often in the early going of this race. Almirola, Cindric side by side for 3rd. Harvick gets off of turn 4 really well compared to the rest of the field. Gets big runs on the front stretch as a result. He'll get underneath Joey Logano. Now looking at Austin Cindric for 4th. Already down to 30 laps to go in stage number 1. Harvick and Cindric side by side. Cindric holds on, gets the run off the high side. Harvick right behind him, and he'll maybe look to make a dive into turn 3 and 4. Hugging the curbing all the way around. Patrick Chadley, thanks for tuning in. Gateway doesn't strike me as a caution-heavy track. Yeah, I think it's just going to be this game. A lot of the flatter, well, just the short tracks in general, we've seen a lot of cautions in. Dirt Bristol, Martinsville, Phoenix, we had a lot of cautions in those races. So this one, even though it's not quite a short track, it's about 1.1 miles in length. I think it's still going to play into that. Cindric trying to make a pass for 3rd place right now on Almirola side by side as they hold each other up off the exit of turn 4. Harvick's got to run. He's going to go up the middle 3 wide for 3rd place. And what a move by Kevin Harvick as he clears both of the Fords into turns 1 and 2. That was ballsy, but he got it to work. Almirola holds on to 4th in front of Cindric, and now Harvick blocks the 10 on the back straightaway. Blaney pulling away in stage 1. Kevin Harvick just doesn't quite have the speed that the 8 and the 12 have. It didn't help that he fell a little bit further back with those 2 cautions in the opening 10 laps of the race. Good news is no scoring glitch up to this point, so everybody's still on the lead lap. Harvick gets off turn 4 really well this time as he has a big closing rate on Tyler Reddick now in the front straightaway. He's going to pull out of line into turn 1. This is for second. Harvick can't quite beat the 8-pack to the accelerator. Through the shifts, Reddick gets the run off the high side off of turn 2 at least. Harvick definitely better in 3 and 4. Going to power move his way into the corner. Really got the car to stick to the bottom very well on the curbing all the way through turns 3 and 4 as he'll hold clear of Tyler Reddick for second place. Now trying to run down the 12, Brian Blaney with 15 laps to go. 25, sorry, laps to go in stage 1. So far I'm liking this race. This feels legitimate. We've made some moves. AI seem to be really smart here. Can't say that about most tracks. How is it that they get the new track correct with this game? Harvick kind of blew the corner there. Had to downshift an extra time in the middle of the corner trying to make sure that car wasn't going to go all the way up to the wall. Still got off turn 4 decently. In case we do get any scoring glitches, though, Harvick would like to be in the lead. That way it would go against the rest of the field rather than us. And knowing he is this close to the lead, he's really trying hard to get to Blaney. Blaney kind of protecting the bottom a little bit on the front straightaway. Harvick with a big closing rate into turns 1 and 2, trying to get to the inside of the 12. Not quite there. Maybe he is. Blaney slides those rear tires a bit off of turn 2, but Harvick couldn't quite get underneath him. Now into turns 3 and 4. Harvick deep into the braking zone to the inside of Brian Blaney. Side by side, off of turn 4, Harvick slides up and he's clear. New leader, Kevin Harvick at Gateway, will lead his first lap of the race after Blaney led the first 22. Harvick trying to extend this regular season points lead over William Byron. Again, it's just a 5-point lead. And because Byron and Harvick have been a little bit more inconsistent late than some other drivers behind him, they are being closed in by 2 other drivers. Both Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. now are within 50 points of Harvick and Byron. So mathematically, they could actually take the points lead today as well. They're just obviously not quite as close as that 5-point difference between the 4 and the 24. Yeah, Harvick just struggles on the restarts. Once we get a few laps into the run, though, I think he may have the fastest long-run car on the racetrack today. If we get to green flag pit stops, that's going to be interesting, too. To go. Stage 1 already. First stage, the shortest of the 3. I mean, the car feels good around this racetrack on this game, too. At least with stability. Like, it doesn't feel too tight like the rest of them. Which is very strange. Usually you have stability help on in this game, and even with NASCAR Heat to a certain extent, it was kind of like that, but your car would be pretty tight. My car's not tight at all here. Like, it feels normal on the grip level standpoint. Still a long ways to go, though. Obviously, it looked like we were going to win the Coke 600 there for a little bit at the very end. We had the strategy right. We were holding on to the lead when we needed to, and we had a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops, which trapped Harvick a lap down for that overtime restart. Went from a win to 13th place finish just like that. Ran a near perfect race. Came from 2 laps down at one point as well. It looked like they were going to have a comeback win, but not quite. About a 2-second lead for Harvick over Blaney right now. Aggressively pulling away. I'll tell you what though, Eric Almirola's put together some good races. He's still just outside the cutoff line to make it in, but not by much. He's only 9 points behind Denny Hamlin. And then Kyle Busch is 7 points behind Hamlin coming into the race today. But Almirola looking to get stage points early. If this is anything like real life in 2022, the Fords are fast on the flat tracks. We saw that a lot. And I think that's why you see Harvick, Blaney, and Almirola inside the top 4 in the early going of today's race. And one thing I've noticed with this game too, it's very weird. And I think they've probably programmed it like this, but a lot of the drivers who won the races earlier in the season are ones that are contenders in the races on our season so far. Like even Chastain won Talladega, Chase Elliott won Dover. Like it's really strange how this is all kind of working out like that. So Harvick didn't have a great car, I guess, at Gateway, but maybe it's a little different when I'm driving as whoever. But I remember Blaney had a top 5. I think he finished 3rd or 4th. Kyle Busch started top 10. Logano started top 10. They finished 1-2. I think Kurt was in the running late as well, so we'll see if Kurt Busch will get a good run at it. Again, should be able to make it upfield to the end of the first stage. We're not sure exactly how far these guys are going to be able to go with this being a new track, especially. A little bit past halfway on fuel right now for Harvick, but we only have 14 to go in the stage, which is about 20 to 21 miles, so he should be able to make it. This is a pretty short race, though, too, overall. I know I mentioned stage 1 is short, but the race overall is only 300 miles. Harvick widening his groove just a little bit more. I'm not even going to make any adjustment changes during this first stage break. Like, this car actually feels really good. And this is probably the best handling car I think I've ever had on this game. Tires aren't really fading that much either. Now, granted, we had a couple cautions, so that was about 14 of the 33 laps we've ran so far were under yellow. But, I mean, even if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen where that indicator is, it's looking pretty good. So crazy to me, like, how much I have to shift on the shorter tracks on this game. I mean, it's what they would do in real life, though. I'm literally downshifting from 5th to 3rd in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, if I kind of miss my mark and have to slow the car up a little more in the center of the corner, then I'll downshift to 3rd. If I widen my groove out in turns 1 and 2, I could get away with only going down to 4th gear as well. But if I'm riding the low side all the way around the corner, especially when I'm trying to make a pass, I have to drop it to 3rd. Otherwise, I'm just not going to get anywhere near the acceleration off the exit of the corner as we were seeing in the early going when Harvick was trying to make passes. It's not easy, but it's possible. More possible than what it was at Charlotte or 600 yesterday. And we will get another look at another newer track, I guess, in a sense, at least when it comes to the NASCAR 21 Ignition side of things tomorrow when we go to Sonoma, because it'll be the old Sonoma layout. Of course, on NASCAR 21 Ignition, it was when they had the carousel in there, so that's going to be taken out. We're going to have the chute back. So, that'll be a little bit different, at least with the newer NASCAR games. Again, that'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the channel. Lap times have only fallen about 0.8 of a second for Kevin Harvick up to this point in the run. He's got about a 4.5 to 5 second lead over Ryan Blaney, who is still in second. And he's put a little bit of a gap over Reddick in third. Blaney is first in points of those without a win this season. 8 different winners so far in the year. Still well more than 8 races to go, even after today's race. So we still have a chance to get 16 different winners in the regular season. But we've been getting a lot of repeat winners here finally as of late. Harvick had quite a few at the beginning of the year, but the last 2 races we've had repeat winners of Ross Chastain and Christopher Bell. Seven to go, stage 1. I don't want to speak too soon. This is kind of my favorite track on this game, I'm not going to lie. And I'm not just saying that because I'm leading in the early going, because we've had that at other tracks this year, especially the short tracks that seem to be a bit quicker on expert difficulty versus the intermediates. On the intermediate tracks, for whatever reason, expert difficulty, I am well out of top 10 speed, but on the short tracks, it feels like I have one of the fastest cars. So the good news is, at the end of the season, you got Martinsville Phoenix to round it out. I'm in a situation to win the championship and get that far in the playoffs. I think we'll be all right. So to get this playoff point here in a little bit, it'd be huge for Kevin Harvick. Could be back-to-back races with a stage win also, considering he won one of the 4 stages yesterday at Charlotte. It'd be the 8th stage win of the season already for Harvick as well. He's going to catch the very tail end of lap traffic. Going to have some back markers going a lap down before the end of stage 1. Harvick should get to him. Got about a quarter of a tank of gas left, but again, plenty good for 4.5 more laps, which may lead to pit stops for everybody during the stage break. We have seen that at times, but not every track that is the case. Definitely going to have to make some green flag stops in stages 2 and 3 today, but not stage 1. Everybody stayed out of the pits during those first 2 cautions, as we would imagine. The AI usually don't pit till they're at the very end of the run. Unless the caution comes out when they're within the window to make it upfield to the end of the race, then they'll pit early, but that would be the only time. Negative 24 wind chill here for, jeez. I know it's supposed to be cold this week for me too. I don't think it's supposed to be that cold wind chill. Well, maybe wind chill could. I know, like, actual temperature at night, there's a couple days it's supposed to be about 0 later in the week. We're supposed to get a lot of snow this week too. Like 6 to 8 inches Thursday, Friday. I may not have to go into work on Friday. Should be crazy because, I mean, I'm off Sunday, Monday anyway, regardless if it was Christmas or not. But then I get off at noon on Christmas Eve, so off Thursday. That'd be huge. I mean, I could possibly only have to work 6 hours in a 5-day stretch. Oh, Harvick into Yaley. This is the first time he's made contact with anybody today. He's right off the exit of turn 4. Was expecting to have that big of a run. JJ Yaley goes to be the first car lap down. Luckily, it didn't bring out an accident. Luckily, Harvick's car is all right. Doesn't look like there's too much damage. I actually hit the wall pretty hard in qualifying on my first lap. Thank goodness I had 2 laps, especially with the early cautions we saw in today's race. It'll be the final lap this time by in stage 1. Garrett Smithley goes a lap down off turn 4. And who else will go lap down here on the final lap of the stage? I think BJ McLeod's definitely going to get lapped. Noah Gregson, Cody Ware, the next 2 cars up ahead of McLeod, are going to drive it in deep into turns 3 and 4. He'll clear the 78 on entry. And right off the exit of turn 4. He has a run on Gregson, just beats him back to the line and clears him as well. Kevin Harvick going to win stage 1 at Gateway. All right, 8th stage win of the year for Kevin Harvick. Most of any driver this season. And that will be playoff point with the wins and stage wins combined. It'll be playoff point number 33 for Harvick on the year as well. How many Chase Elliott have in real life this year? Like 50 or 55? We might get to that. Ryan Blaney ends up 2nd, Eric Almirola 3rd, Tyler Reddick in 4th, Martin Truex Jr. 5th, Ross Chastain 6th, Austin Cindric 7th, Joey Logano 8th, Christopher Bell 9th, and Kyle Busch will round out the top 10. And William Byron gets no stage points in stage 1. He ended up 11th. So that's going to mean that Kevin Harvick is going to extend his regular season points lead down to 15 points over Byron going into stage 2. So Harvick will pit during the stage break. We'll see if anybody else will pit as well. It'll be 4 tires and fuel. No adjustments here for Kevin Harvick. Davion West, welcome into the stream. Billy Kramer, Wade Zielinski, RBLX, thanks for tuning in also. Didn't notice anybody else on pit road, so Harvick's probably going to restart pretty deep in the field. Yep. All right, well, this is going to be interesting. 95 laps in stage 2. Green flag going to be back in the air. Harvick should be able to split the stage in half if he really wants to, and he's going to have the freshest tires in the field, so he's going to try to be careful here. 2 and 3 wide all the way in the back half of the field. I see the 38 getting a bit sideways. He almost spins out, checks up the outside lane. Off the exit of turn number 2, and Kevin Harvick's going for a bunch of spots down on the bottom, and now he's just going to hold his line on the inside, hoping he doesn't get squeezed. We've seen cautions on restarts a couple times already today. Harvick could have to be on high alert here. We're checking up big time, especially Harvick on fresher tires. We really got to hope we don't get a caution in this situation that Harvick is in right now. Gotta assume we're gonna see the field pit very, very shortly. And now Ty Dillon slides off of turn 2, barely keeping it off the 34 of Michael McDowell to his outside. These guys can really pit at any moment. They're not pitting there. It's a very narrow pit road. I don't know how they're gonna do this, knowing this game. This is another reason Harvick would like to get back towards the lead if he can. Busch sliding up. He gets loose. Keeps it off the wall. Chase Elliott going to have to check up as he's boxed in with Harvick and Hamlin underneath him. Oh, Busch knocked it into the wall there, right where that opening was. Surprised he didn't hit it harder. Harvick to the back of Kurt Busch. They're going to have to use that access road. That's the only way they're going to be able to get into the pits. I don't think I've ever seen the AI in this game use the access road, so this is going to be interesting to see how this is going to actually work. Ryan Blaney's lost a lot of spots on the restart. Almirola is actually leading the race right now. Truex in 2nd. Blaney's back to about 5th, and Chastain can get by him in the 1. Harvick is already back inside the top 10. Again, he's got 45 lap pressure tires in the rest of the field. On the outside of Logano. Power move to get underneath Tyler Reddick in the middle of the corner as well. How much further can these guys go on fuel that did not pit during the stage break, which is pretty much everybody except for Kevin Harvick, who is up to 4th already in the first 5 laps of the stage. Looking like the game's on easy mode. That's what 45 lap pressure tires will do, especially when you have the fastest long run car as it is. Mark Mars, thanks for tuning in. Harvick dives it in deep, gets by Truex with a little bit of a slide job up to 2nd. And probably going to get a run on Eric Almirola as well off of turn 4 to the line. Harvick will lead this lap as he clears the 10. So back into the race lead in just 5 completed laps after restarting in 36th. last on the lead lap because he was the only driver that hit pit road during the stage 1 break after winning stage 1, and now he's right back where he left off, and it's going to be interesting to see how long we are going to go. If we get a caution, I'd imagine the AI will probably pit, knowing that we're probably going to see, I'm going to guess we're going to get a yellow with drivers trying to pit during green flag conditions. We got cars pitting right now. I just saw a couple of the leaders on their way in. We continue to stay green. It'll be also interesting if we get a caution while Kevin Harvick crosses the start-finish line and traps these guys a lap down. I mean, everybody pitting right now, they're going to end up going a lap down as well. Now, Harvick going to have to pit at some point in the stage, but because of how early they're pitting, they're going to end up having to pit twice in stage 2 versus Harvick's once. Harvick's only going to have a handful of lap older tires, so I don't think they're really going to be able to run him down. Corey Freak, welcome into the stream also. Just tuning in, we've had 3 cautions today, 2 for incident, stage 1, and then the stage 1 break. Caution free in the early going of stage 2. A lot of cars on pit road, almost the entire field is in the pits. Harvick is going to lap the field now, assuming everybody is pit. A lot of clean air around the 4 car as well. Making his life easy. I'm not complaining. Still have some cars on pit road. So he's going to be 1 lap ahead of the field. There are going to be some drivers 2 laps down that were at the back half of the field, and caution is out, and that's going to trap the field a lap down. That is a huge caution for Kevin Harvick. Dale Campbell, thanks for tuning in also. That is a huge caution for Kevin Harvick. He's going to have a little bit older tires here. Green flag going to be back in the air, though. We'll see how this is going to work out now.
Stay right. Stay high. All right, hold your line. Clear, clear.
A lot of these guys trying to get back on the lead lap. Not a terrible restart that time by Harvick. Gave up a little bit to Smithley and Bell there, but Harvick holds the bottom. He's got to run on Smithley. Front straightaway.
Stay left. Clear,
Bell is
clear.
in 4th.
Car right.
Harvick can cross the start-finish line.
Clear, clear, clear.
So I don't know if he's 1 or 2 laps ahead. Because he was in the middle of 1 and 2 when that 4th caution came out.
Car right. Clear, clear.
You can tell the tires matter too, because he's struggling to get by the 15 of Garrett Smithley, who's in 37th right now.
Car right.
Good acceleration off
Clear,
turn
clear.
4 though, and he's going to clear him. He's only got about 10 lap older tires. You saw what the 45 lap fresher tires did for Harvick at the very beginning of the stage. But the strategy has worked out so far. I mean, it's not even really strategy. I pitted during the stage break. That would be normal. They did not. They pitted under green at the beginning of the stage. That could work on road courses to a certain extent, but not on a shorter oval. Bell's driving away. I don't think Harvick's going to get to him. Not until the tires maybe even out over time. And considering he is in 4th, if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that Bell would have been 2 down on the restart, and then 2nd and 3rd place would be 1 lap down. Or, if that's not the case, that means Bell would have been 1 lap down on the restart, 2nd and 3rd would also be on the lead lap with Harvick. If, for some reason, those 2 drivers didn't pit prior to that caution coming out, and considering Harvick was already past the start-finish line, I'm probably going to lean towards the first of those two situations. I've seen that chopper on the back straightaway so many times already in this race. Is that the infield chopper, actually? Somebody get hurt? One of the cautions we saw? It doesn't seem like Bell's really pulling away from Harvick. I think he just got out ahead after those first few laps, and Harvick's just not able to really run him down. How about Justin Haley in 5th place right now in the top 5? He'd like to get a lap back on Harvick if we get another caution here in stage 2. Martel Antoine, thanks for tuning in. You can alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Hope someone's in control of the chopper. I would imagine. Hopefully they have enough fuel for as much as they're flying around. Are they gonna make it the whole race? I think Christopher Bell is slowly pulling away from Harvick, by the way. Because it feels as if Justin Haley and Joey Logano, Mark Jr. really, at least those next 3 cars are closing in on Harvick. His lap times have dropped off about... I mean, he's ran 23 laps already, fuel-wise. Now, he's going to have to pit before everybody else by about 10 laps or so. So it's going to be interesting to see if that's going to end up being under green flag conditions or caution conditions. Just don't land on the... Yeah, hopefully. I don't care if it's a safe land or a crash land. Don't land on the track. Or in the grandstands. You know what? Track might be... I don't know what would be more dangerous. Landing in the stands or the racetrack. The land's on the racetrack. Hopefully it's under caution. No rearview mirror in this game, so just kind of constantly checking out of the look back cam to see where Justin Haley's at. I wouldn't be able to do that much without stability help, just because usually the car likes to pull to the right or the left a lot. I feel like I'm going to wreck if I use it too much, but... especially with how unstable the car is on top of it. Really have to be looking in the right direction. I mean, we'll get an update of the running order all the way through at the end of stage 2. And then we'll know at least where those drivers are at. Drove in a lot deeper that time. Corner entry. Rolled the bottom all the way through. Just trying different things, really. Where I feel like the car's handling better. I've been diamonding the corners off a lot more in stage 2 than what I did in stage 1. Just trying to figure out ways that I might be able to run quicker laps on older tires. I think the only way Harvick's going to pit under caution in this stage, he obviously didn't pit during the first yellow in the stage. If we do get another caution in this stage, I think Kevin Harvick needs to pit only if he's within the window to make it to the end, which is going to be anywhere between if I had to guess, no more than 50 to go. So I don't want to risk running out at the very end of the stage. I think to be very safe, 45 laps to go. That we know we can make. So that's what we ran in stage 1. I think we could go a couple laps beyond that. I don't want to risk it too much, though. Martin Truex Jr., by the way, just got by Justin Haley and Joey Logano, for that matter, for position. Haley in 6, still in front of the 22. Truex slowly driving away from Haley. If he's got any sort of similar speed to Christopher Bell, maybe he'll have a shot. Bell's been very consistent in recent races. Maybe he can make a late regular season charge for that regular season championship. Of course, had a lot of points yesterday, won a stage and won the race in the Coca-Cola 600. Scored more points in that race than any other driver. Took advantage of that extra stage himself. Won stage 1, he didn't really lead again until the very end of the race. A timely yellow. That was the strategy he was on. Stay out a little longer than everybody else. Hope for a caution. He got it. Held on to the lead on that overtime restart, which was pretty easy considering he was the only car in the lead lap at that point. He didn't get in a wreck or anything, so that worked out perfect for him. 900 horsepower next gen. Thanks for tuning in. Always running into the opening on the backstretch and heat. I'm surprised that still is the way it is, especially with the Cup Series there now. That's so dangerous. Somebody hits that wall right on the point. Especially when you're on an on-throttle point like that. Oh, caution's out again. Second caution of stage 2, the 5th caution overall. Again, it was after Harvick crossed the start-finish line. Looks like Truex is going to restart in second this time. Green flag back in the air. Harvick moving down to try to block. Into turn 1, Logano going 3 wide, and here comes Justin Haley to the outside. And Haley going to blow around Kevin Harvick. So Harvick was a lap ahead of the field. I was right on that. Might have went another lap ahead. I don't know. With that caution coming out, Truex and Logano making contact back there. And now Truex to the inside of the 4. I believe he made a little bit of contact. Justin Haley into second for the time being. Harvick stayed out because he wasn't within the fuel window to make it to the end of the stage yet. Got a little over a quarter tank of gas. He still has slightly older tires. Driving it in very deep that time. Got good acceleration right off the exit of turn 4, and he's got a run on Justin Haley heading towards turn 1. Looking to the inside.
All right. Clear all around.
Putting up a fight. He's side by side with him. On the back straightaway, heading towards turn 3.
Clear all around.
Harvick, deep dive into the corner.
Clear all around.
Will he be able to clear the 31 off the exit of turn 4?
Got one right.
I do think he will at the start-finish line, and he does. Trying to stay a lap ahead of the field here. Harvick will have to pit, though, very soon. Harvick just completely missed 1 and 2, and Haley's going to get right around him. And now Truex is on his back bumper. Big dive into the corner by Harvick. Drove it in too deep. Oh, Logano's coming into the pits. Truex uses up the 4 just a little bit.
Clear, clear, clear.
Truex back on the lead lap, but Joey Logano just pit that time off of turn 4. Kind of a random reason. Harvick's car maybe a little too tight in traffic right now. He didn't have to deal with traffic for a while. Big run. Burp the throttle a little bit as he gets to the inside of Truex.
Car right.
Side by side into turns 1 and 2. See Truex on that outside lane. Harvick drifts back in line. No, not quite. Maybe able to side draft a little bit. Power move into turn 3. He's going for it. He's going to slide really wide. And Truex gets back around him, but Harvick back to the accelerator quickly, and he gets back to the inside of Truex again. That was a double crossover, and he's clear into turn 1 as he pulls back into that outside lane, but now he's going to blow the corner. He's headed towards the wall, and that's going to cost him some time. And Truex gets back by. I was scared it was going to blow right front when I hit the wall there. Luckily, the right front tire did not go down. It was the first time Kevin Harvick has gotten into the wall today. Really about as old as his tires have been in this race as well. Right after the 45 lap mark, which is how long that first stage was in its entirety. Getting another run to get by Truex. Going to try not to overdrive the entry to 1 this time. Downshifting way early. Kind of holding up the 19 behind him as he's clear off of turn 2. Truex with a run. Harvick with a block on the back straightaway. Some good racing going on right now, at least. Harvick slipping a little bit wide. Truex underneath. Harvick gets the acceleration again off of turn number 4 and a block on the front straightaway. Surprised Haley's not pulling away with the 19 and the 4 battling each other, and I think that's because of how fast these two cars are behind the 31. Harvick got around him initially, but that was about it. Harvick keeps his car on the bottom all the way through 3 and 4 that time. He's got to run on the 31.
Got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Gonna look low into turn 1.
Car right. All clear.
Great corner by both of them. Oh, Haley got cleared. Truex down to the inside of the 31. I wonder if Haley lifted off the exit of turn 2. When Harvick got to his inside. Whatever the case was, Martin Truex Jr. was able to get around as well, and Harvick right back to his 1-lap lead on the field again.
Got about 5 laps of fuel left.
45 laps to go in the stage this time by. We had 2 cautions for incident in stage 1, 2 for incident in stage 2 so far in the stage 1 break, bringing our 5 cautions out in total in today's race so far. Inaugural Cup Series race at Gateway.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Much further will Kevin Harvick go on this fuel tank? He's gonna end up giving up that 1-lap lead and probably gonna lose the race lead temporarily as well. We had a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops earlier in the stage when everybody else pits. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how this is all going to work itself out.
Okay, we have to pit next time out.
Harvick kind of blew turns 1 and 2 just a little bit. Regine Huddleston, thanks for tuning in. Kevin Harvick going to pit this time by. He doesn't want to risk it any further on fuel, so he'll be on his way in. Going to have to take the excess road on his way into the pits. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for Kevin Harvick. No adjustments. I would imagine pit road speed probably 45. Yep, 45 miles an hour. I didn't want to push it too fast. I wasn't entirely sure what the speed limit was there. So Harvick is going to surrender his lead. He's going to go into the pits. He was 1 lap ahead of the field, if I had to guess. Maybe he was 2 and he'll still have the lead, but I think he was 1. But definitely going to be a 4-tire stop as he makes just his 2nd pit stop of the race. Harvick's still in the lead. Caught the grass a little bit. So I guess Kevin Harvick did have a 2-lap lead on the field. Still out in front at Gateway.
Got one right.
Biffle's got a lot of damage. He's definitely one of the cars that crashed. Pitty slightly in the other. I can't control that. Okay, if they want to black flag me for it, they can. Well, I don't want them to do that because it's not my fault.
Car right. Clear all around.
So Harvick has pressure tires now. It is going to work.
Got one right. Clear, clear,
Ryan
clear.
Blaney's still in the
All
top
right.
5. He's in 5th.
Clear, clear.
Couple cars side by side up there. I think Tyler Reddick was making a pass on Noah Gregson. Ryan Blaney slipped a bit wide, almost into the wall off of turn 2, and Kyle Larson's going to get underneath him on the back straightaway now. William Byron's dropped back to 18th place, so finished 11th with no stage points in stage 1. Harvick won the first stage.
Clear,
Harvick's
clear.
still in the lead in stage 2 as he has led the most laps in the race so far.
Got one right.
And Byron going to go another lap down off of turn 4. So I'd have to imagine Harvick, everybody in the top 16, if I had to guess, is, well, maybe just the top 5. I don't know. This is strange. Maybe everybody in the, we passed Blaney in 5th, so maybe everybody in the top 4 is on the lead lap. I'm just trying to get my mind around exactly who's on the lead lap and who isn't.
Car
I
right.
thought Harvick was going to lose the lead when he pitted under green, but I guess not. I think because he was ahead of the start-finish line when the last 2 cautions came out, so it trapped the field an extra lap down both times, with him being the leader. A little less than 40 to go in the stage. So Harvick going to run this stage out, no matter if we get a caution or not. And then he's going to pit during the stage 2 break.
Clear,
Down to
clear.
a little less than 140 laps to go. We're almost halfway home. Roll in fourth, just a couple cars ahead of Harvick.
Car right.
get to the inside of the 10 car into turn 1.
Clear, clear, clear.
And clear him. Chastain's struggling for grip off of turn 2. Chastain checked up big time into the corner. Harvick got into him. I thought the one was going to go around there for a second. He did not. Definitely had to lift to keep it off the wall, though. We almost Chastain. Alright, so Justin Haley in 3rd. Truex should be in 2nd still. Elliott about goes for a spin. Harvick, I don't know what I was trying to do there. I was thinking the outside was going to open up. I just put it in the wall trying to miss him. That was not a wise move. Car should be fine still. All tires are up at least. If I would have blown her tire, that would have been all on my end. Going to blame it myself on that one. The bottom was clearly wide open, but I decided to steer towards the wall for whatever reason. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, it did. I saw the opening on the outside. We're making things a lot harder on ourselves here over these last couple laps on the back straightaway. Martin Truex Jr. is into the pits from 2nd. Harvick will get back around him, so he's got a 1-lap lead on the field again. They're going to have about 9 to 10 lap fresher tires than Harvick. It was about what it was the last time. It was about 8 to 10. Now we're going to have a 2-lap lead on the field again then. Logano in 2nd. He still has to hit pit road. He also had a top 5 finish in the Coke 600 yesterday. Caution.
Pit road is closed.
Now, Harvick wasn't quite to the start-finish line that time. So Martin Truex Jr. should just be the 2 laps down. Should be. So caution in the middle, green flag pit stops again. Green flag going to be back in the air at Gateway. Harvick gets a good launch on the restart, quickly gets to the inside of Christopher Bell. And when he's restarted in the lead, he's had a lot better restarts. When he doesn't restart in the lead, not so good on the restarts. Going to hold clear on the 78 of BJ McLeod, though, on the back straightaway as they get up to speed. It's our 3rd caution of the stage and our 6th caution total of the race. And we're about 7 laps shy of the halfway mark. We're on pace for about 14 or 15 cautions. We know we're going to get one more with the stage break coming in about 26 laps. Yeah, a car does that sometimes. Spinning under caution. Harvick will end up having to go a little over 40 laps on these tires, about 42. Not quite as long as stage 1 or that first run of the stage where he went 53 laps in stage 2. Outside all the way through the corner. Gonna try to keep Bell and Truex behind him. They're in 3rd and 4th. 2nd place, maybe it's Logano. If it's not, though, I think 2nd place is actually only 1 lap down. That would make the most sense to me, because I know Truex pitted, so I'm going to say that Harvick... Well, now he's going to have a 2-lap lead on the field, because he crossed the start-finish line, we get another yellow. Bell might have been past the start-finish line. He was a couple seconds. I don't know. That's close. But caution's out again. Our 7th of the race. Green flag back in the air.
Stay right. Car low. Still next to you. 2 inside. You're
Bell and
3 wide.
Truex might have been past the start-finish line when the caution came out. Not as good of a restart this time for Kevin Harvick. On the outside lane, Denny Hamlin nearly spins, trying to keep it off the 4. And now he's just trying to block everybody. You know, oh my gosh, they're 4 wide back there. Harvick just blew turn 3. He's in the wall. That's not going to be good. And there comes Corey LaJoy. Harvick put himself in a bad situation here. He's in the wall again.
Clear, clear, clear.
A lot of cars going to get by him, including second place car Christopher Bell, who now would be on the lead lap to the end of the stage if Harvick can't get back around him. Same for Truex in 3rd, who just passed Harvick through 1 and 2. Harvick's got about 10 lap older tires than these guys. He just blew that corner. It was only the 2nd time he's gotten into the wall today, the first down in 3 and 4. All tires are up, luckily, on the 4 car once again. Trying to hang on to it. Bell's in traffic, so I don't think he's going to be able to really pull away from Harvick here. Harvick desperately wants to get back around the 20. Took a peek to the inside, but couldn't quite get underneath him there. Bell slides up a bit wide in the middle of the corner as he gets it a little loose. But the 4 can't get the acceleration. He'll stay in front of the 19 of Truex, who has a run on him on the back straightaway. Busch to the inside of Bell. And Harvick with a run, going to go up the middle, 3 wide on the front straightaway. Did that same thing for position much earlier on. And that's one way to get by Christopher Bell to put him a lap down again. Busch gets back around him through 1 and 2, but he made sure to stay in front of Bell. And Bell got passed by Truex. Truex now to 2nd. Still a lot of traffic in front of these guys. I don't think Harvick's going anywhere. I don't think the 19 or the 20 would go anywhere either. This Harvick can really get around these guys. Keegan Schneider versus Judge Judy. That was... There's the random comment of the chat today. That's supposed to be a match at WrestleMania next year. Oh, Busch! Trying to pit, I think. I don't know. Harvick is all the way in the grass going into the corner. Kyle Busch was in the grass just trying to make it into the pits. A lot of time lost by Kevin Harvick. Somehow he merged back into traffic and didn't wreck anybody. We stay green. But now Bell's back on the lead lap along with Martin Truex Jr. Harvick trying to get his momentum back. Haley slips and slides off turn 2. Hey, never underestimate the power of Judge Judy. The strength of Double J. Caution is out. Wow. Well, that's going to make things even more interesting. A late caution in stage 2. Harvick will stay out. We know he's the leader still. But I think Truex and Bell are going to be back on the lead lap now as the green flag is back in the air. We have 7 laps to go in stage 2 following our 8th caution of the day. Harvick does not get a good restart again. Busch. Allmendinger gonna get around him. Not sure where Truex or Bell are exactly at right now. I think if we get another caution in the stage will come to an end. We won't have enough laps left to restart. Well, there's the yellow, and never mind. I guess that's not the case. Harvick gonna stay out of the pits. We're gonna have a restart. 1 lap shootout in stage 2. Green flag back in the air. Harvick gonna quickly try to get to the bottom behind Justin Haley. And does. I think Kevin Harvick should be able to win stage 2. He's gonna pit during the stage break. No clue what the running order is going to exactly be like, and he might even get back around Haley into 3 and 4.
Still next to you. All clear.
Haley does not want to get cleared by Harvick. Harvick gets the acceleration, clears Haley, and Kevin Harvick will sweep the stages today at Gateway. And that will be our 9th caution of the race with the Stage 2 breakdown. Kevin Harvick has swept the stages. Alex Bowman ends up 2nd. Christopher Bell 3rd. Joey Logano 4th. And Mark Trix Jr. rounds out the top 5. Justin Haley 6th. Ryan Blaney 7th. Eric Almirola 8th. Kyle Larson 9th. And Eric Jones rounds out the top 10 in Stage 2 today at Gateway. The final stage is about to begin. Harvick will pit during the stage break. Not take fuel or tires, and then we'll get on to the final stage here shortly.
Watch the light. Control the flow.
3rd pit stop of the day for Harvick and company. A little crinkle on the right front fender, nothing too much. See, we got a couple birthdays coming up in the chat. Got a grandfather and a mom having a birthday, looks like. Happy early birthday to both of them. 100 laps in the final stage. Green flag back in the air. Harvick is the leader on the restart again. I really have no clue how many laps Harvick is ahead of the field. 0 clue. Thank goodness I was leading when all these cautions were coming out. Oh, Logano about wrecked Christopher Bell. The back straightaway for no reason. Now 1 car pitting, 3 wide off the exit of turn 4 up here. They're crowding each other.
Got one right.
No wreck.
Clear, clear, clear. 3 wide, 2 outside. 3 wide.
99 laps to go.
Got one right. All
We
clear.
just got to survive these restarts to the finish at this point. I don't know if we're going to have to end up actually racing anybody for the win legitimately in this race or not. But
Clear, clear.
there's Bowman in 2nd. Harvick might be a lap ahead of the field again. I have no clue. Somebody clipped the grass going into turn 3, driving all the way up near the wall.
3 wide, got 2 up top. 3 wide.
A couple other cars on pit road as well.
Got one right. Clear, clear.
Hey, I'll take a max points day.
Stay left. Clear, clear, clear.
Harvick just made a clearance of Gillen off the exit of the corner. Chastain clips the curve going into the corner as he slides up in front of Byron, who is now back to 20th. Clears JJ Yaley. Into the wall goes Chastain to make sure he was going to
Clear, clear, clear.
get back into the throttle quick enough to clear those guys. That pass on Byron was actually for position. Harvick was able to clear the 1 on the front straightaway after he got into the wall. Almirola still inside the top 10, is in 7th. Has dropped back. He was leading at one point early in the race. Garrett Smithley into the wall off turn 2, stacking up Austin Dillon, and Harvick clears him as well.
Clear, clear. Got one right. Still next to you.
Wild race today at Gateway. The racing itself has been good.
Stay left.
Kind of wish we didn't have these scoring glitches. This would be a lot more intense of a battle than I think it has been so far. It felt intense at the end of stage 2 with all those cautions, but ended up all kind of being for naught because I don't even know exactly how many laps we are ahead of the field. And we're only multiple laps ahead of the field because of the cautions coming out when we cross the start-finish line before a couple other of the leaders do, and we keep trapping everybody a lap or 2 down when that happens. But we've also been behind it while leading a couple times, so I don't know exactly how that works, but
Car right.
never really on this end of
Clear,
it.
clear.
Didn't I win Richmond by like 10 laps because of
All
that?
clear. Stay left.
I thought I was only like a couple laps
Clear,
ahead.
clear, clear.
Maybe that's going to be the case today, knowing we have had 9 cautions.
1 left.
That was not a clean block by Harvick on Cindric there. Love tap to the back of the 4. Kind of turned myself. surprised I didn't.
Car right. Clear, clear, clear.
Oh, I haven't forgot. Playing the Baker Mayfield Rams tonight.
Stay left. Clear, clear.
Lions won
Clear,
yesterday. And they're only half game behind the Commanders. Packers would be a game and a half back if they win. They play Detroit one more time this year. The problem is, though, I think Detroit's 3-1 in conference play, and the Packers are 3-2. So they're gonna need Detroit to lose. I don't know who Detroit has to play yet. I don't know if they have to play Chicago one more time or the Vikings one more time. You have to let me know, Wade. But whatever one they play, Green Bay would need them to lose that game specifically. Like, they can win the other two games. It wouldn't affect the Packers as long as the Packers win out. But we need to beat them, and then... Well, then we would be... I mean, we'd be tied. If the Lions won that game against either the Vikings or the Lions, we'd be tied. And then the tiebreaker after that, I think, is conference win-loss record. I don't know who has the better conference win-loss record. I don't know if it's... the Packers and the Lions. I would have to imagine the Lions probably have that tiebreaker. So I know the Packers have lost a lot of conference games this year. Like, pretty much every team that's barely ahead of us, we lost to the Giants, the Commanders, and the Lions. At least we beat the Bears twice. Chicago one more. Yeah, it's going to be a tight race. It's going to come down to that last week. I think it's going to come down to the Lions and Packers game that last week, honestly. Obviously, that's assuming Green Bay wins out leading up to that. They should win today. They should. Got the home field advantage. It's going to be cold tonight in Green Bay. I think the temperature is like 15 or 16 degrees there at kickoff. We're supposed to get an inch of snow tonight, too, but I don't know if it's going to be during the game or not. It might start to snow by the end of the game, but... Yeah, I'm kind of nervous. Green Bay, I'm not used to seeing them in this situation, trying to play from behind to get into the playoffs. They did it one other year when Rodgers got hurt, and then he came back. I think it was the year he broke his collarbone, and he missed like 6 or 8 weeks. And then he came back, and the only shot they had was if they won the last 3 games, basically. And he came back for one game against Carolina, and they lost. I think he played the next week against the Jets still, even though they lost that week. Then they beat the Jets, but then, I mean, it didn't matter whether we beat them or not. And then they just rested him the last week of the season. But that was like the only year I can remember since Rodgers has been quarterbacking, or at least since we won the Super Bowl, that we've been in this situation trying to play from behind to make the playoffs. But that year was a little more like settling in that we were going to miss the playoffs because he was out most of the season anyway with an injury. This season that wasn't the case. He's playing hurt, but that's not the reason for the poor performance by the team every week, though. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it might have something to do with it, but even before he was hurt, he wasn't playing the greatest. The whole team really hasn't been playing that great. Defense can't stop the run either. That's terrible. It doesn't matter what defensive coordinator we hire, we cannot stop the run. We have not been able to stop the run since like the mid-2000s. It's so bad. Like, I think of all those playoff games where Russell Wilson and Colin Kaepernick just torched us on their legs. And then Jalen Hurts did it the other night. Justin Fields had like 100 yards against us rushing even though we beat the Bears. Like, it's like, why do we let this happen? Like, how does that happen every single time? It's just so easy You would think just to put a spy or two on the quarterback just to keep them contained, at least make them throw the ball. But still find ways to get some open runs. Yeah, if the Lions win out, they should be in. Well, you would think. I think they would technically still need Washington to lose because they're half game behind them. I don't know who Washington still has to play the rest of the season. I know the Lions played no one except for teams with like losing records the rest of the year. So if they play the Bears and Packers, I can't remember who else they play. I think they play another team with a losing record. They've definitely got a good chance to get in. Greg Biffle's up to 10th. I think they're cycling through green flag pit stops, so for some of them. Regardless of the fact that Biff is in the top 10. Kevin Harvick continues to lead at Gateway as we have about 83 laps to go, trying to get his 6th win of the season and his first win in 6 races. He won the first 2 stages, giving him stages 8 and 9 on the year for wins. And now up to 34 playoff points. It'd be 39 if he could seal the deal with the victory today. Could be multiple laps ahead of the field due to scoring glitches, but the actual racing product of this game, both from the AI and from my car feels, pretty stable. It doesn't feel like it's sliding around as much as what it does in some other tracks without stability, or with stability it's not as tight. And then with the AI, they're really smart at this track. I do have to say, like, they legitimately race me, and they race me clean. They don't use me up. I mean, we've seen them use each other up at times, like right there. I think it was Daniel Suarez clipping the curve, then he runs down in the car on the bottom. 3 wide off of turn 4. I think that was Ryan Blaney got into on the outside lane there.
Got one right.
Like, we've seen that at times, but that's not been happening around Kevin Harvick, so doesn't bother me any. DJ McLeod about loses it now off of turn 2, checking up Gilliland. I saw Cole Custer coming down the pits. Aiden Hutchinson has 7 sacks this season. That's why the Lions are #1 offense. I don't think him having 7 sacks has anything to do with the offense being #1, but considering he's on defense. The Lions do have the #1 offense. I mean, is that still the same after this week? I know KC put up a lot of points again. Detroit scored 20.
Car right. Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
Chase Elliott coming out of the pits.
Right.
Slides right up in front of about 3 cars. And Harvick's able to clear all 3 of them plus Elliott. Getting into turns 3 and 4 as a result. We haven't had a caution at all yet in this final stage. We did go pretty long into stage 2 before getting the first yellow, and then we had 5 of them by the end of the stage. In that stage alone, 6 if you count the stage break. I do plan on doing a second season of NASCAR 22 when we get through this one. I think I'm going to drive as Greg Biffle. I'll miss the opportunity to drive as Blaney. But we did that on the NASCAR 21 side of things. And it's probably going to be my last time to ever race as Greg Biffle in a NASCAR game for like future games. So I'm not going to miss that opportunity. And I'll drive as Greg Biffle for that season. We're going to try to win a championship with New York Racing. That's what we're going to try to do. We may be pretty slow compared to the rest of the field, but gosh darn it, we're going to put up a fight. I'm going to try to. We're going to have to strategize our way into pretty much any win we try to, but we can give it all she's got. Playoff format, anything's possible.
All clear. Got one right.
I mean, anything's possible regardless. There's even more possible with the playoff format. And it is a video game, so that makes it also more possible. Dylan leaning on Brad Keselowski off the exit of turn 2. McDowell's got a lot of damage in line behind him. Harvick down to the inside, 3 wide underneath the 6 and the 42. Just cleared Dylan getting into the corner. Thought Dylan was going to try to crowd the 4. It's a good thing he did it. Oh, hooked him. Luckily, he just ended up sliding in line behind him, not even making any bit of contact. Alex Bowman's still in second, having a quiet but good day all of a sudden. So William Byron didn't get any stage points today. That means it was Kevin Harvick outscoring Byron 20-0 in the stages. So it's a 25-point lead as of right now for Harvick over Byron. That's not even counting the race finishing results. If Harvick wins, he's going to get 40. Byron, last we saw, was in 18th. Let's just say theoretically he finishes there. He's going to get 19. So we're going to have a 46-point lead over Byron going into tomorrow night's race at Sonoma. Harvick did win a stage at Coda earlier this year and actually got 19 stage points in that race. He didn't get a good finish. He broke the tires off the car there towards the end. I think it was more of a glitch than anything else. We'll potentially have to watch out for that when we get to Sonoma tomorrow. Almirola pulling to the bottom. We'll give Harvick the outside into the corner. Harvick can now actually go to the bottom in the middle of the corners. Almirola blows by Harrison Burton. Pulls quickly in line behind the 43 of Eric Jones. Trying to make a move, and caution is out right before Harvick gets to the start-finish line, and this will be another caution, bringing out our 10th of the race, our first yellow of stage 3. And we'll restart with about 65 laps to go. Still outside the fuel window, so Harvick stayed out of the pits. Green flag back in the air.
Clear all around. One left.
Earl Arnold Jr. also welcome into the stream. Bowman right in line behind Harvick. We know he's at least 1 lap down. At least I would think he is, considering we saw Harvick pass him on the racetrack. Harvick would like to keep him behind him, though. Does not happen through 3 and 4. Bowman into the wall, though, as he overdrove the corner trying to get by Harvick, and that's going to allow Harvick to get back by the 48. If Harvick is only 1 lap ahead, he needs to keep the 48 behind him, and he's not going to do it there as he goes way too far wide. Bowman went wide himself, but still a lot lower than Harvick. Harvick got older tires, I think, than the 48. Bowman kept it off the wall that time. In the dirty air behind B.J. McLeod, and then Austin Dillon in front of the 78 as well.
One left.
Harvick's car is really tight. Struggling in turns 1 and 2. Slipping and sliding on the outside as he's up in the marbles. Bowman will clear BJ McLeod. Yeah, so it's interesting. Bowman ahead of Harvick. He could be a lap down rather than on the lead lap where he's at, ahead of the 4. I think it would be even more interesting if he gets past the start-finish line and we get a caution. Most of the yellows have come when Harvick's on the front straightaway, whether it's before or after the start-finish line. It just seems to be that that has been the case more often than not for whatever reason. Whether that be luck or just something consistent with this game, whatever the case is, that could be a perfect opportunity for Bowman to maybe even get an extra lap back on the 4. Harvick will have to pit well before the 48. Should be interesting as well. Harvick probably going to go about as far as he can on fuel before he makes that decision to pit. What about 53 laps to start stage 2? So that's about as far as he's going to be able to go on fuel here. I think we had 2 cautions in that run as well. We've only had 1 caution in this run. A little over a quarter tank of gas left for the 4. We're down to 60 laps left. The inaugural Cup Series race at the Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Clear, clear.
Ty Dillon going to slide up and get around Kevin Harvick. He scrapes the wall. Kind of similar to when Bowman got around him earlier. That's going to allow Harvick to clear the 42 again on the front straightaway. Bowman clearly faster than the 4 right now. He has much fresher tires. That has to be the difference. Harvick just kind of protect the bottom on the back straightaway into 3. Trying to make sure the 42 car doesn't get around him.
Only a few laps till we pit.
Quarter tank of gas left for the 4. Probably got to go about 10 more laps. I think if we did get a caution, he'd have to pit even if he is just a tad outside the fuel window. Just because of where Bowman is ahead of him. Trying to make some time back up and then just hope that we don't go green to the very end. We get at least 1 more caution in that next fuel run, which I think we are still going to get a couple more cautions for the end of this race. I don't think we've gone more than 40 laps without a caution today. Even that might be a stretch. Dillon overdrove the corner, but so did Harvick. McDowell and Elliott catching up to the 42 and the 4 on the back straightaway, heading towards 3 and 4.
Be ready. Get pit road in a few laps.
Again, we have had 10 cautions in today's race so far, but only 1 caution in the final stage. We had 3 in stage 1, then we had 6 in stage 2 with the stage break included on both stages there, and then, yeah, just the 1, though, in this final stage so far. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, basically flat Darlington.
Only a few laps till we pit.
I think the big thing is for Harvick, making this green flag stop here in a few laps is going to be whether or not he is going to be in the lead or behind Alex Bowman. If Bowman is potentially on the lead lap right now, then Harvick will definitely lose the lead. Bowman's a lap down. I think Harvick is going to end up cycling still in the lead in front of him. It's big because if we get a caution, depending on where the 48 and the 4 are running, maybe that could trap Harvick a lap down. There's a caution right there. So Harvick will pit during the yellow. Our 11th caution of the race is out. He did cross the start-finish line. So I think that is going to actually help him here. It should. It'll help him more than it'll hurt him. And now he can pit under caution rather than having to pit under green. That might have been a good timing yellow there for Kevin Harvick. I don't know that Harvick can make it on field in the end. It's going to be very close. Caution came out with 54 laps to go, and he went about 53 laps earlier. Heading to a restart. 47 to go. Green flag back in the air at Gateway.
Got one left. Free wire, you're up top. Clear, clear.
A lot of drivers stayed out of the pits there, too.
Free wire, you're up top.
Biffle into the back of, I should say Harvick into the back of Biffle. Off the exit in turn 4. Fading way out. Oh, man, Bubba Wallace. We got a car around, that's why. J.J. Yaley has crashed going into turn 3. That's why there was a checkup. Harvick got into the back of Bubba Wallace. He was trying to stop. Keep from wrecking. Green flag back in the air. 41 laps to go now after our 12th caution. Harvick's got a decent amount of damage after hitting Bubba Wallace. Bowman in the 48.
Got one right.
Right behind Dillon and Balicki slide off of turn 2. Harvick able to get back around him and clear on the back straightaway, so he's got clean air. And the 48 of Bowman, is he on the lead lap, or is he at least one lap down, is going to be a big question that we have to get answered here. We're not going to know unless the 48 passes the 4. That's how we'll know. 40 laps to go. It's definitely time for Bowman to try to run down the 4 if he's got the car. Yeah, I know the Packers play tonight. I'm a big Packers fan. I would know. Big game. Big game as far as the season goes, not considering the fact that they both have losing records. The game itself might not be good, but... I mean, maybe it'll be competitive, though, I guess, with them both having losing records. The teams are banged up. Rams way more banged up than the Packers. Baker pull off magic 2 weeks in a row. And how many teammates will he headbutt tonight without a helmet? Got some cars on pit road right now. Bowman stuck behind Austin Dillon and Josh Balicki still. We went from having no cautions for a while in this stage now to having a few back-to-back. Back-to-back-to-back, really, in the last 30 laps. Still be the longest green flag run of the race today if we stayed green all the way to the end. So I don't think we've seen the last caution. Again, we've seen 12 yellow flags in today's race. I don't know what the actual Gateway race had. I feel like this is more. I don't remember seeing that many cautions in that race when I was there. If I had to guess, they probably had anywhere between like 7 to 9 cautions. 9 at the most. Still have to alternate through the different camera angles one more time in today's race, so we'll be sure to do that once we get back to the start-finish line this time. This car was not damaged, really, until Harvick got in the back of Bubba Wallace after J.J. Yaley spun getting into turn 3. Harvick won the first 2 stages of the race for those of you just tuning in. Really going to expand that regular season points lead. He was only 5 points ahead of William Byron coming in, but Byron gets no stage points today. It actually may end up losing second in points considering how good Mark Truex Jr. has been. I think there's a chance Truex can move up into second. The points lead may not be quite over 40 like it would be if Harvick wins, depending on obviously where Byron finishes. Last we checked, he was barely inside the top 20 still. We're close on fuel. I think I'm probably going to pit if we do get a caution. The problem is I put myself back in traffic again. Luckily, we didn't actually get involved in that wreck when Yaley spun. And I don't know if Alex Bowman is on the lead lap or not. I don't think Bowman is on the lead lap, but we're not 100% sure at the same time. And I know it's going to put me behind all the lap cars too, but the tires have mattered today. Tires have definitely mattered at Gateway today. I've seen a lot of drivers be able to make up a lot of time on alternating pit strategies and when they pit and when they choose not to pit during these cautions. That's when passing has probably been the easiest. It's been relatively more easy than what it would typically be with the next-gen car on a flat track, I'll tell you that much. It's not just for me, I'm talking for AI also. Extra cautious if we go to overtime, I definitely don't think we'll make it. I don't know that we're 100% good on fuel now. We got about 2/3 of a tank of gas left, and we're still at 33 to go. Pitted a little bit before I wanted to under that last caution. This game, you burned a lot of fuel under yellow, I've noticed too. I think I have to pit with another caution. The problem is if the caution comes out really late in this race, are we going to have time to get back past Bowman? But if the caution also comes out after we cross the start-finish line immediately, before Bowman gets there, then he's going to be at least a lap down because of that alone, even if he's not a lap down right now. So that would guarantee me to still restart the lead if I pit, and I'd have fresher tires. So that would make my choice a lot easier. At that point, that'd be a no-brainer to pit. Take advantage of the scoring glitch. Harvick catching up to some lap cars. We do have some other cars coming out of the pits right now. Justin Haley, it looks like. And he was in the top 5, actually as high as second at one point earlier in the race. Jones scrapes the wall off of turn 2. Another car coming into the pits up ahead. I see on the access road in turns 3 and 4. Harvick on the inside of the 43 and now the 23 as well on the front straightaway. Clears him into turn 1. Everybody pitting right now of those lap cars will be able to make it on field once they pit. A couple cars clipping the grass, at least the curb. Maybe they weren't all the way in the grass that time. Riding the curb all the way through 3 and 4. Surprised he gripped up to the bottom as well as he did through the rumble strips that time. 29 laps left. Harvick pulling away from Alex Bowman. We had an overtime restart though yesterday in the 600. And in general this season we've had quite a few overtime races. Cole Custer gonna get turned right on the entrance to pit road. I think he was trying to pit. All the 11 of Denny Hamlin was already underneath him. Hamlin in the wall now off the exit of turn 4. We stay green. 28 laps to go. That almost could have collected Harvick. He was on the outside of that. I didn't know if the 41 was going to come back across the track when he got turned like that, and I guess he didn't. Cinder coming out of the pits. Oh, the 6. Thought he was going to hit that wall. On on the back straightaway right at that point. He was heading towards it, but then he steered back onto the actual racing line. Harvick staying really low through 3 and 4. A lot of lap cars to his outside. Just gets to the inside. 3 wide underneath Keselowski and Biffle, I believe. I do not like this camera. I'll tell you that much. I can see out the left side of the car, so I know when the corner's coming. And I can kind of see under the under the hood a little bit on the dash, whether or not there's a car right in front of me. This is a whole new challenge. Oh, yeah, I see Corey LaJoy. I saw him under the hood. Oh, jeez. I had a big run on him. I lifted. Plenty of room for the cars behind me. Harrison Burton. Oh! A little late to check up there. So Reese Hesmans. There's Corey. Harvick on the outside of Keselowski. There's him on the back straightaway heading towards turn 3. Busher just in front of Harvick as well. Got 24 laps to go, this time by at the start-finish line. Harvick staying extra low in the front stretch. We're braking early. I don't know where anybody's at. Keselowski about got into the wall that time. Race for impact. Repair the car. No, it's fine. It's kind of fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. Hesman's still on the outside. Corey LaJoy towards the right as well.
Hold your line. 2 on the outside. You're 3.
Oh, 3 wide. Okay. Hesmans might have tried to go up the middle. He's in line behind the 4. Harvick should clear LaJoy off the exit of turn 4, and he does. So time that out pretty well. '62, Noah Gragson next. Going to be a 41-lap green flag run to the checker if it stays green to the end of the race.
Clear.
Right now we have 21 laps to go, so we've gone green for about 20 laps. Harvick did clear Gregson on the front straightaway. And well cleared in the 1 and 2. He's got a lot of clean air in front of him now. Chris Bell still in the top 5 as he is in 4th on the leaderboard. He's one of the next few cars up ahead of Harvick. And Alex Bowman is the car in 2nd. Not sure if he's on the lead lap or not. We still don't know exactly if Kevin Harvick is going to be able to make enough fuel all the way to the end of this race either. We don't know how many laps, if Harvick is any laps ahead of the field. I probably lean towards him being at least 1 lap up. But I'm not entirely sure either with all the cautions we've seen. We have had 12 yellows in today's race. 10 for incident, and 2 stage breaks. Chris Bell kind of stuck on the outside there. And we'll get out of this camera angle for the rest of the race now. Oh boy, Bell making a block. on Harvick.
2 on the outside.
Squeezes him into the corner. A lot of contact there. Bell almost went around.
Car right.
Outside drafted Harvick on the back straightaway. They're looking to make a pass on Kyle Busch. Big dive into the corner there as McLeod and Harvick make a bit of contact. Busch slides wide in front of the 78. Harvick should be able to clear Kyle Busch. Bell into the wall up turn forward. Harvick gets by him as well on the front straight.
All clear.
Bowman is not that far ahead of Kevin Harvick anymore. He's almost made up a... Oh, and actually Bowman's on the access road coming out of the pits, actually. And he's still in second, so that's going to ensure that Kevin Harvick is at least a lap ahead of Bowman, with Bowman pitting there. And still staying in second. Bell in third. Kyle Busch is actually in fourth, right behind Bell. So they are likely battling for position, but Bell is definitely pulling away from the 18 right now. Busch may still have to pit before the end of the race. Harvick still may have to pit before the end as well. It'll be interesting to see how much time Alex Bowman's going to be able to make up on the 4. Harvick blew the corner. He's in the wall. Third time he's gotten into the wall today, and the second time in turns 1 and 2. This car has been getting tighter later in the run, over the final stage especially, but it wasn't really doing that before the damage that you see on the front of his car. All tires are up on that 4 car, though. And complex damage is on. Saw him blow a tire late in the Coke 600 yesterday after contact with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Clear, clear.
A lot of contact with Suarez.
Clear, clear, clear.
I don't know if he bounced off the wall and then into Harvick, or Harvick just rode up into him.
All clear.
Off the exit of turn 4, and maybe squeezed him into the wall, whatever the case was. We're at least staying green. Harvick continues to lead. 14 laps to go this time by at Gateway. Harvick clearing Allmendinger well before getting into turn 1. Harvick going to go a bit wide in the corner, though, and Allmendinger gets right back around him. Slips a little bit. Harvick stays to the outside. But Kyle Larson got a bit loose also. Harvick's got to run on the 5 car. Easily cleared the 16 down into 3 and 4 again. Harvick takes a deep dive to the bottom of the racetrack. Larson all the way towards the outside. And off the exit of turn 4, Harvick beats Larson back through the shifts. We're down to 13 laps to go at Gateway. At least a 1-lap lead over Alex Bowman. Starting to think Kevin Harvick is going to be able to make it on field to the end. Still at about a quarter tank of gas left. Goes to overtime. I don't know that he's going to have extra fuel for that, so he may have to pit late if we do get a late caution. But again, he's a lap ahead of the field, at least, with scoring glitches, and then at least with Bowman pitting under green flag conditions, even if Bowman was on the lead lap on that last restart. Harvick might as well pit if we get a caution. Yeah, I talked about Haley Deegan going to ThorSport a couple days ago. I mean, there's really, like, no expectations for her over there. I mean, there might be expectations with the team necessarily, but she can't, you would think she can't get any worse. She only had, what, 3 top 10 finishes in 2 seasons? I'm guaranteeing she has at least 3 top 10s this year with ThorSport, just based off the equipment upgrade. You would think that she'd be able to do so. You would also think that making the playoffs should be a priority with that team. But at the same time, we just don't know what her talent level is. I don't think the trucks really suit her driving style. I think the Xfinity cars are probably better for her, so I'm kind of shocked that she didn't go into the Xfinity Series or find an Xfinity ride for this year. I think Cole Custer dropping down to the Xfinity Series might have hurt her and hurt her chances of getting a full-time Xfinity ride, because that took another 4 ride away in the Xfinity Series, and there wasn't many available anyway. They honestly added a 4 ride for Custer, so I think if that didn't happen, maybe she would have went to, say, the 00. Just saw Kurt Busch get in the wall off turn 4. Harvick couldn't quite get by him. Kurt in 23rd right now. Should still be inside the cutoff line going into Sonoma tomorrow. And Ryan Blaney, who's first in points, having a good point today, scored stage points in each of the first 2 stages and is in 5th right now. Have to lose another lap here to Kevin Harvick very soon. Kurt Busch off the exit of turn 4 trying to clear the 12. They're still side by side. I think Busch is cleared to start finish line, and yes, he is. He'll move up now. 8 laps to go for Kevin Harvick. That's true, too. And she does have more teammates to rely on, which will probably help.
1 lap.
I didn't know how far Harrison Burton was coming up the track there. I thought it was going to get turned. That was tough.
Car ride. Clear all around.
I do think she does have the tools that can help her advance in the truck series, but I don't expect her to go out there to win a bunch of races.
Clear, clear, clear. Only a few laps till we pit. Got 1 left.
At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if she kept up with, say, Matt Crafton on a weekly basis, because I've noticed Crafton the last year and a half or so has not been the same Matt Crafton. I think he's kind of past his prime for sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if, say, like, Crafton misses the playoffs and Haley Deegan, like, outruns him. But I think Crafton is kind of where Johnny Sauter was the last year or two, where he just... Sauter was kind of the same way. He was just off.
All right, hold your line.
It wasn't the old Johnny Sauter in the truck series. Kind of washed up. Hate to say it, but kind of similar to how Jimmy Johnson looked in the Cup Series his last year or two. Kind of what reminds me of what's going on with Crafton right now, what went on with Johnny Sauter, too, the last couple seasons. So I think that she can, run better than those guys on a somewhat regular basis. Sauter's not going to be in there, but Crafton obviously will be. I don't think she's going to be anywhere close to, like, Ben Rhodes.
Got 1 rack. We'll be pitting in about clear.
So, I mean, maybe she'll make the playoffs, but I don't think she'll make a deep run. If she makes a deep playoff run, that would be above my expectations, I'll tell you that much. Burton driving it in deep, trying to get by Kurt Busch. Ryan Blaney up to 4th now, by the way, as somebody else in the top 5 must have pit recently. Even after Harvick already put Blaney another lap down.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
Got 4 laps to go. I mentioned Harvick was going to be close on field to the end of this race. He should still be able to make it. May consider pitting, knowing that he is a lap ahead of Bowman. I think he'll still cycle out with the lead. He's going to stay out this time by... We're just going to kind of gauge it as we get closer to the end here. He's only gone 53 laps. He's got to go 54 on a full tank here. We did not get a caution at all before the end of this race like I was expecting us to potentially get. This is our longest green flag run of the day so far, and it's right to the finish. 3 laps to go. Busch getting a little loose off turn 2. Harvick going to keep up with him. Back straightaway.
Car right. Clear.
Harvick to the inside of Kurt Busch. We'll have 2 laps to go at the line this time by. And Harvick will clear Kurt off the exit of turn 4. How about my man Greg Biffle in 12th place tonight for New York Racing? What a run. Might lose a spot to Michael McDowell, who's right behind him before the end of this race. Harvick's just going to stay out to the end here. White flag will be waving this time by. If we did get a caution on the final lap, the race would come to an end. And the race seems to be official now as Harvick is off of turn 4. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. It'll be a 41-lap green flag run to the finish. We didn't actually get the white flag thing at the top of the screen, but the spotter still said final lap, so we'll take his word for it. Final lap of the race. Half a lap away from victory for Kevin Harvick at Gateway.
Got one right. Got one right. Clear, clear.
Gets underneath Michael McDowell, Greg Biffle.
2 on the outside.
Clears them both off turn 4. Checkered flag in the air. Kevin Harvick is going to win in St. Louis.
All right, bring it to us this lap.
6th win of the season for Harvick. Dominating the race, winning both stages and the race. Wow, I was 5 laps. Okay, yeah, so that's not accurate. I did not win this race by 5 laps. If anything, I won this race by 1 lap because Bowman pitted before the end of the race on that last restart. I did not. But we definitely benefited with those cautions coming out in the middle. Definitely at stage 2 with the cautions, but especially because I think when I restarted at stage 2 after a pit during the stage break, I wasn't in the lead. I was in 36. So I don't think we actually got ahead of the field until we had that first caution midway through stage 2. And I think from that point on, we were at least a lap ahead of the field due to scoring glitches. And actually, Bowman just crossed the start-finish line, so I guess we finished 4 laps ahead of him. But yeah, with all the cautions coming out there, we definitely gained some extra laps because of scoring glitches. So, I mean, we saw that at a couple other races I've won this year. Atlanta. That's how I got back into it at Atlanta. And then Richmond and Dirt Bristol are the other races that has happened with me so far this season. I think Phoenix even might have been like that. Honestly, I don't think I've had a win on this season yet that wasn't like this. So that kind of stinks, but we'll take it for what it's worth, and we'll accept the win tonight because we need all the points we can get, and we have grown that points lead out over William Byron exponentially today, and Truex might even be in second now because he had stage points. Both stages finished 6th. Kevin Harvick with the win, though, today. Alex Bowman ends up 2nd. Christopher Bell 3rd. Ryan Blaney 4th. Kyle Larson rounds out the top 5 and 5th. Mark Truex Jr. in 6th. Kyle Busch in 7th. Good run for him just outside the cutoff line coming in. I think he'll be in over Hamlin now as of right now. Justin Haley finishes 8th. Austin Dillon with his 3rd straight top 10 ends up 9th. And Bubba Wallace with his 3rd straight top 10 will round out the top 10 in 10th place. Alright, so we'll get to see the Victory Lane celebration here once I take some screenshots of the finishing order. There we go. Wow, Joey Logano DNF'd again. I did see him pull into the pits at random there back in the beginning of stage 3, so that makes sense. Chase Briscoe also DNF'd, so Briscoe and Logano DNF'd today in the 12 cautions we saw. And William Byron finished in 29th. So even further back after he finished 18th, I think, at the end of stage 2 and 11th after stage 1, he just kept falling back like a rock. 6th win, though, for Harvick, and we'll try to go for back-to-back and get number 7 tomorrow. Yeah, woo! Got the fire on top of the, whatever that was, the Titantron or whatever. Not the Titantron. That's a pro wrestling thing. R6, welcome into the stream, by the way. I didn't see you in the chat there late. Yeah, that's it. I can't show you the point standings. I'm used to NASCAR 6 where I can just hop into that, show you the updated point standings. I have to do the math on my own. I'll be doing that during the Packers game tonight. Thanks for everybody watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe again for more daily NASCAR content. Honestly, from a racing standpoint, I really like Gateway on this game. The actual racing itself, both with my car with stability, handles well. It's not too tight like any other track, it seems like, with stability. And you can still slip and slide around just a little bit also. The AI, very smart at this track. Probably smarter than any other track I think I've raced at so far. This is arguably the best race I think we've had on NASCAR 22. Not just because I won. I mean, like, in general. I think this and Auto Club were the two best races. And those are two tracks that were not on the NASCAR 21 side of things. So I don't know, how that works out exactly, that literally the two new tracks that we've had in this game have been the two best races. I think Auto Club definitely had a much better finish. I mean, that came down to the overtime restart. That was a legitimately good finish and a good race. I think that race overall was better than this one, but from just like the pure racing standpoint, not the race itself, but just how the cars drove and the battles that we saw at times in today's race, I think was better than Auto Club. But the Auto Club finish, I think, helped put that race on top. But yeah, I'd probably put that as the two best races of the season. We'll see what will happen at Sonoma. That's kind of a newer track because we'll have the chute for the first time. So maybe that'll be another good race, I guess, tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see. That'll start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for everybody watching and for your support as always. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.